India's diplomacy is at a defining crossroads, reflecting both confidence and vision. In recent days, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has engaged with some of Asia's most influential leaders from China and Russia to Japan and Singapore, putting forward India's agenda of security, connectivity and cooperation. These high-level engagements not only deepened bilateral ties but also reinforced New Delhi's role as a key architect in shaping Asia's future.
India's diplomacy is stepping confidently onto the world stage, blending strategic depth with a clear vision for Asia's future. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent tour from the SCO summit in Tianjin, China to the Indian-Japan annual summit in Tokyo highlighted New Delhi's ability to balance multilateral forums with strong bilateral ties. In China, PM Modi's talks with Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin underscored India's role in shaping regional security and connectivity, while his address at the SCO plenary pushed for reforms to meet the world's emerging challenges.
भारत का हमेशा से मत रहा है कि मजबूत कनेक्टिविटी से केवल व्यापार ही नहीं बल्कि विश्वास और विकास के द्वार भी खुलते हैं। इसी सोच के साथ हम चाबहार पोर्ट और इंटरनेशनल नॉर्थ साउथ ट्रांसपोर्ट कॉरिडोर जैसे इनिशिएटिव पर काम कर रहे हैं। यह खुशी की बात है कि एससीओ भी समय के अनुरूप इवॉल्व हो रहा है। ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम, ड्रग ट्रैफिकिंग और साइबर सिक्योरिटी जैसे समकालीन चुनौतियों से निपटने के लिए 4 नए केंद्र बनाए जा रहे हैं। हम इस रिफॉर्म ओरिएंटेड माइंडसेट का स्वागत करते हैं।
Prime Minister Modi's participation at the SCO summit was hailed as a diplomatic success, reaffirming India's image as a constructive and credible voice within the grouping. By engaging major powers and advancing India's priorities, PM Modi reinforced New Delhi's position as a bridge builder in an increasingly divided world.
I think he made a very substantive and consequential speech. The central point was that to us, SCO indeed stands for security, connectivity and opportunity. This is quite remarkable the way Prime Minister has presented this interpretation. So overall, we can say with a clear conscience that India's participation in SCO summit is a notable diplomatic success. This will produce better results.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Tokyo for the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit with Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru gave fresh momentum to the special strategic and global partnership, broadening its scope across defense, the economy and the people-to-people ties. The summit produced a series of landmark outcomes, from a joint vision for the next decade and a security cooperation declaration to an action plan for human resource exchange. The two leaders also launched an economic security initiative to safeguard supply chains and unveiled India-Japan Digital Partnership 2.0, featuring a new AI cooperation initiative to shape the technologies of tomorrow.
So I think the Prime Minister's visits to both Japan and China were very successful. I think in Japan it was a bilateral visit. It has set the perspective for the future of Japan-India relations for the next decade and more. Very important decisions were taken on defense and security cooperation. In fact, it was so significant. So even whether there is Quad or no Quad, the bilateral cooperation between India and Japan in the South China Sea on defense and security matters will continue. And also on technology, Japanese technology being used for making products of high defense value, including a communication antenna for naval ships and so on. So all this has been a great positive, a great movement forward.
The message was clear. India's rising influence is helping shape the Asian century. New Delhi is emerging as a bridge between nations, a driver of integration, and a credible voice for stability in an uncertain world.
India has become an influential power, which will, along with other Asian nations like Japan and China, and in fact, you must remember that most of Russia is also in Asia, which will be at the helm of the creation of what Prime Minister Modi has called the Asian century. This has happened. It is one of, if you like, the byproducts of the new respect that India has achieved, because India has become what you might call a star power, because it stood up to a superpower on principle, not out of aggression, not out of any fickle behavior, but on principle.
Wrapping up this wave of high-level diplomacy was the visit of Singapore's Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, his first official trip to India since taking office. The visit marked a new chapter in India-Singapore ties, adding fresh momentum to their strategic partnership. From finance and digital innovation to skills, aviation, maritime cooperation, and even space, the agreement signed spoke to a relationship firmly oriented towards the future. Taken together, these milestones underscored India's widening diplomatic reach, not just as a trusted partner but as a regional stabilizer and a driving force in shaping Asia's future.